Right now at 6, police adapt to new drug trends by training officers to draw blood for DWI cases.
And clear skies out there, a beautiful sunrise. However, it is going to be hot for us today as our temperatures continue to climb. A look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, the Joplin SWAT team responds to Easttown after an armed man enters a home and refuses to leave for 3 hours before being arrested.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Thursday, August the 14th, and again, more than halfway through this week and almost halfway through the month of August. So here we go. Kids
I know.
back in
back
school.
To school. Summer's coming to an end.
Well, my kids, I think, are kind of looking forward to it because the boys, they alternate coming to work with me. So they've only got a couple more days of this business left of having to get up at 2:30 in the morning. It's going to be nice going to school for them. So hopefully everybody's excited, looking forward to all of that. The one thing we're not excited about is the heat, and it is on as we head into this afternoon and into the upcoming weekend. Let's start with a look outside downtown Pittsburgh. Looking good. Again, we have clear skies out there, so a pretty nice start to the day. Our camera's up at the range line, again, pointed back toward that sunrise. It is also looking very nice as well with those clear skies. Fog tracker, we do have some patchy fog out there. You can see Fort Scott's just dropped just a hair below 7 miles of visibility. So it's nothing like what we saw yesterday, but we are still encountering some patchy fog. So just keep that in mind as you're heading out this morning, and that you're just keeping an eye out and watching out for the potential, at least, for those possible rapidly changing visibilities out there. Future track, the wind arrows, while we won't really notice much of a breeze down here at the surface, we have a low pressure system. It's going to pass by just to our west, and it's going to be just close enough that the most it should do for us is bring us some partly cloudy skies. Some of you may briefly go mostly cloudy, but we should spend a good portion of the day partly cloudy. And it shows a shower or two, but that chance is extraordinarily low. You might get a sprinkle under one of those clouds, but any kind of meaningful rainfall or widespread rainfall just not happening. Sitting at 69 in Joplin right now, sitting at 70 in Pittsburgh. So we're right about where we should be for our temperatures this morning. We do some upper 60s out there and some low 70s. Bentonville still the warm spot, but not by a lot, sitting at 72. Sedan, though, the cool spot, sitting at 65 degrees this morning, and enjoy it while you can because it will not last. We're near 80 by 9 o'clock this morning. By mid to late morning, clouds gradually increasing, partly cloudy, 90 by noon. Our highs today into the mid 90s. Again, the wind will be calm or light and variable, so not much of a breeze there. The big thing is our heat index values. They're going to start climbing. They'll be up to about 100 degrees today, so now's the time to make sure you're taking those precautions, getting ready for that extreme heat as we head into this upcoming weekend, because unfortunately it's only going to get hotter. But some good news on the flip side of this, we may get another break from this heat with some below normal temperatures. We'll go over those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, the Southwest Missouri Police Department is making changes to help officers during DWI investigations. One important part of these investigations is often the blood work. And as Adam Woodbray shows us, the department now has an officer trained to do that.
The Aurora-Marionville Police Department isn't the only law enforcement agency that has a trained phlebotomist on staff. Springfield Police, Monett Police, the Lawrence County Sheriff's Office all have them. The police chief here says that having someone who's able to come at a moment's notice can make a big difference when the minutes count.
Over the last couple of decades, the need for blood testing for driving while intoxicated enforcement has become much higher than the need for breath.
There was a time when a breathalyzer test was a bit of a gold standard for DWI investigations. But now Chief Wes Coatney says people are using more substances that wouldn't be detected.
Blood draw has to happen within a certain period of time for us to get an accurate account of what their intoxication level was at the time of the stop.
That's why the department sent an officer through a phlebotomy course with the Missouri Safety Center, and he's ready to go to the station anytime to do the work.
I've pretty much been able to set up my home life so that I'm ready whenever something comes up.
Sergeant Tim Swadley has been with the department for 17 years. He's also the school resource officer. He says it's been common to spend a few hours at the hospital waiting for a blood draw, But now, it can all get done at the police station in just a few minutes.
So we had an issue a few weeks ago where they arrested somebody in the night. And from the time of the phone call to the time of me collecting the blood is about 20 minutes.
Now when you're brought in, they'll bring you in here to this chair, and that's when Sergeant Swadley will be doing his work. Be gentle with me too.
Oh, it'll be all right. You won't even notice.
Sometimes people who are arrested for DWI won't consent to having their blood drawn. And if that happens, officers can get a search warrant and do it.
When you're talking about a police officer who is most likely on the same department as the other officer doing the investigation, or potentially the very same officer who is doing the DWI investigation, that could raise some concerns.
Criminal defense attorney Adam Woody says for him, having an officer trained to draw blood could be seen as a conflict of interest, even though state statute allows it. But he also recognizes why it would be beneficial for a rural community.
They wouldn't necessarily have 24/7 on-staff nursing at the jails, and oftentimes ambulance districts are stretched too thin in the rural jurisdictions to really respond to do those types of things.
Now, the department isn't able to test the blood on site. It's only able to withdraw it. The blood is then sent to the Missouri State Highway Patrol's lab in Springfield for testing. And to be the first to see breaking news, whether in sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, the Joplin SWAT team is called into the Easttown neighborhood yesterday afternoon and left with one man in custody. Police had initially responded to a report of a disturbance at a home on the 1300 block of South Furnace around 2 p.m. Captain Austin Wolf says an armed man had entered the home and was refusing to leave. The residents of the home were able to exit safely, but then a standoff began between the man inside and police. Around 5 p.m., the SWAT team began dropping flashbangs into the home.
Despite the officers' efforts, the suspect did not leave the house, and so based on a lot of circumstances, SWAT was called. And one of the biggest reasons is we received information that the suspect was armed with possibly 2 long rifles.
Now, the suspect left the home and surrendered to police. Captain Wolf says he expects a first-degree burglary charge among the charges filed. Authorities are investigating the cause of a trailer fire which took the life of a man in Webb City. It happened around 5 yesterday morning in the 4400 block of North Center Lane. Crews found smoke and flames pouring out of the home. One man, 60-year-old George McDonald, was unresponsive and taken to an area hospital. McDonald later died from his injuries. 2 other people also suffered from smoke inhalation and minor burns. Authorities in Joplin responded to a serious crash on West Zora. It happened about 9 a.m. yesterday morning. Both drivers were taken to area hospitals along with one child. One driver was rushed priority after she was trapped for an extended amount of time. Both east and westbound lanes reopened shortly after 10 a.m. Well, a warning from Missouri public health officials. A resident has contracted an infection from what's commonly called the brain-eating amoeba. Now investigators are trying to determine if it's linked to the Lake of the Ozarks. Authorities say while it's not confirmed, preliminary information implies the patient may have been water skiing at the Lake of the Ozarks prior to becoming ill. The amoeba is common and naturally present in warm fresh waters such as lakes, rivers, and ponds. However, the infection is very rare, typically affecting fewer than 10 people a year in the U.S. The Missouri patient is an adult and is currently in intensive care. Health officials say the infection cannot be spread by swallowing contaminated water. Instead, the amoeba travels up the nose and to the brain. People can reduce the risk of infection by avoiding stirring up sediment while in shallow, warm, freshwater areas. The symptoms include fever, nausea, vomiting, stiff neck, and seizures. Also, an alerted mental status and hallucinations. The disease progresses rapidly, so anyone experiencing the symptoms after swimming in a warm body of water should seek medical help immediately. You can look for more information on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather coming up on the KOAM Morning News. President Trump manages expectations ahead of his meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin, warning of severe consequences if Russia is not serious about ending the war with Ukraine. Plus, quitting smoking could help beat other addictions. We break down a new study in Health Watch. And extreme heat hits the 4 states today. Chris has a look at your Thursday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Time now 6:10. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look from Radio Springs Park, located in Nevada, Missouri. Well, topping Nation Watch this morning, we're learning more about President Trump's objectives heading into tomorrow's meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin at a military base in Alaska. After speaking with Ukrainian and European leaders yesterday, the president said he intends to find out if a second meeting with Putin is possible. This all comes as the president says he may ask Congress to extend his federal takeover of Washington, D.C. CBS News' Jared Hill has more from New York.
I'm going to find out where we are and what we're doing.
President Donald Trump managing expectations ahead of tomorrow's meeting with Vladimir Putin in Alaska, also issuing a warning to Putin if he thinks the Russian leader isn't serious about ending his war with Ukraine.
There will be very severe consequences.
Friday's summit seen as an opener to a possible second round that would include Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky.
Now, there may be no second meeting because if I feel that it's not appropriate to have it because I didn't get the answers that we have to have, then we're not going to have a second meeting.
This comes after Zelensky and European leaders pressed President Trump to push for a full ceasefire during a video call.
Putin blefuje.
Afterward, the Ukrainian president said he warned Trump that Putin is bluffing, though European leaders say they hope the meeting is successful. Meanwhile, Wednesday night in the nation's capital, some residents of Washington, D.C. protested President Trump's surge in police presence. Earlier, he signaled plans to get Congress to approve extending the 30-day federal takeover.
If it's a national emergency, we can do it without Congress, but we expect to be to Congress before Congress very quickly.
Hundreds of law enforcement and National Guard troops have been deployed throughout the city as the Justice Department says crime in the nation's capital is at a 30-year low. Jared Hill, CBS News.
The White House is launching an internal review of some Smithsonian museums, including the National Museum of African American History and Culture, the Air and Space Museum, and the National Portrait Gallery. In a letter to the Secretary of the Smithsonian Institution, the White House says it is seeking to, quote, ensure alignment with the president's directive to celebrate American exceptionalism, remove divisive or partisan narratives. Wednesday, President Trump also revealed this year's Kennedy Center honorees, actor Sylvester Stallone, rock band Kiss, singers Gloria Gaynor and George Strait, and Tony Award winner Michael Crawford. Well, still to come, from a new thriller to a tribute to Stephen Colbert's cancellation, we take a look at today's Ion Entertainment. Plus, Chris has a look at our Thursday forecast. Well, a star actor and director reunite for the 5th time, and James Corden weighs in on Late Night. Wendy Gillette has today's Ion Entertainment.
Buying back, stacking his records. It's a lot of money.
Denzel Washington stars in Highest to Lowest, directed by Spike Lee.
This project was brought to me by Mr. Denzel Washington.
What is that?
Highest to Lowest is a crime thriller about a movie mogul targeted with a ransom plot. It opens in theaters tomorrow. The British singer and songwriter Youngblood says he's still processing the death of Ozzy Osbourne last month. The two were friends. Osbourne even gave Youngblood this cross.
He was my North Star. He represented me. I was always a little bit out of the box, and always people thought I was a little bit too mad or too crazy or a little bit too much. And he really gave me hope and really gave me a grounding and helped me find my identity.
I need to figure out who I am as an adult, as a man.
Youngblood is the subject of a new documentary that features a behind-the-scenes look at his life as an artist.
James Corden!
The former host of CBS's Late Late Show, James Corden, is sharing his thoughts about the cancellation of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
Ladies and gentlemen, my guest tonight.
I think it's very, very sad, that Late Night's not going to be there on CBS. It's very sad.
Colbert's final episode will air on CBS in May. That's your Ion Entertainment, Wendy Gillette, CBS News, Las Vegas.
All right, let's take it over now to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a very hot day out there for us. Well, at least a hot day. It'll be very hot as we roll into the weekend. Temperatures climbing, heat index values climbing as well. And then we might have this heat wave cut short as we head into the second half of next week. We'll go over all those details with you in the full forecast right after this. Time now is 6:20. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:22 now on this Thursday morning. We're starting with the fog tracker, but again, we're still seeing pretty good improvements. We really haven't had any overly dense fog this morning. We have some light fog around the Grand Lake area and then up around Iola as well, and that's really about it. But just keep in mind that we could still get some patchy fog, and it could occasionally get a little bit on the dense side from time to time from now through about 8 o'clock this morning. After that, we'll actually have clear skies for most of our morning, and then we'll see clouds gradually increasing courtesy of low pressure system that's going to pass by. I know that Future Track is picking up on a shower too, but as we've discussed this morning, honestly, the chances of any kind of rain are extraordinarily slim. If you get a sprinkle, that might be, you might consider yourself lucky. That's really about the best chance we have is maybe somebody gets a light sprinkle, but that's really a very, very low chance. Future Track does continue to show the opportunity for some pop-up showers as we head through tomorrow and into Saturday. Tomorrow, again, it's an extraordinarily low chance, and Saturday it's a bit iffy. We have a slightly better opportunity to maybe trigger a pop-up shower or two by Saturday afternoon, but even if we do see anything, you can see how quickly they die out. They only last maybe an hour at most. So again, right now the chance is just too low to put anything out there, but we'll watch it. Maybe somebody will get lucky and get a little bit of rain, and that'll be the most you'll see, at least for the next several days, other than the heat, and everybody's getting in on that. Our heat index values today easily reaching upwards of 100. Some of us may be a couple degrees lower than that. Some of us may be a couple of degrees higher, but about 100 on those heat index values. As we head into Friday, we start to see a lot more locations reaching 100 to 105, and some of our southwestern communities may reach a little closer to 110. And honestly, that's where out west we could see the better chances of heat index values getting close to 110 as we head into the weekend. A lot of us, though, still climbing near 105 as we roll into the weekend. But again, the further west you go, even further southwest, could get a lot closer to 110. So at this time, we do not have any heat advisories that are in effect for tomorrow or into the weekend. Could that change? Of course, it certainly could. Will it change? I'd say at least for some of our western counties and our southern counties here, that might change. We might get some heat advisories. But even if we don't, these heat index values are still at potentially dangerous levels, which is why you still need to take it seriously. Something fell. We don't know what it is yet, but something fell. But you do need to take the heat seriously out there because it's still going to be at dangerous levels. Heat advisories, you know, these things come out. You don't just go off of that, all right? We showed you what the heat index values could be. If you look and the heat index value in your area is 108, it doesn't matter if the heat advisory is there. It's not like the heat advisory is the difference between whether that's a safe 108 or a dangerous 108. It's still dangerous. Now, our heat risk today, again, is minor to moderate. As we head through Friday and Saturday, we see that increase from moderate to moderate and upwards of major heat risk, which continues into Sunday. And then by Monday, we're starting to see it scale back a bit. Tuesday, even more so, and Wednesday, we're back down to minor. And a reminder, of course, KOAMNewsNow.com/forecast or in the KOAM News Now app or the Skywatch Weather app. We are now putting those graphics back up with all those heat safety tips for you. All right, clear skies through the morning. Clouds will start to gradually increase by mid to late morning. Mid-70s by 8, near 90 by 11. Our highs today into the mid-90s, and those temperatures continue to climb. Upper 90s near 100, which is why those heat index values will climb as well. Through the weekend, pop-up storm chances, slightly better ones, at least ones we can put a percentage with here, Monday and Tuesday. And then the reason our heat risk drops to minor, look at Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week. Temperatures dropping below normal. So we're hopeful that this is another short heat wave, but still want to make sure you're taking precautions. That's a check of your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. So clinicians are more likely to doubt the medical records of black patients over white patients. A Johns Hopkins University study showed the language used in medical records for black patients frequently differed from the language used for white patients. For example, saying the patient claims or insists they have symptoms. Researchers say if health records reflect clinicians' unconscious biases, it can impact the quality of care patients receive. Quitting smoking can help people be successful in quitting other substances. The National Institutes of Health found people who gave up cigarettes had a 42% improved chance of overcoming substance use disorder for alcohol or other substances. The study's author says smoking cessation programs could be used to help people beat other addictions. Well, your late nights on weekends could be putting your health at risk. A Flinders University study identified a sleep disorder they call social apnea, where doing things on weekends like drinking, smoking, and staying up late can disrupt the breathing of sleep apnea patients. Now, that can heighten the risk of heart disease, depression, and dementia. Because most sleep studies are done during the week, the effects of social apnea are being missed, according to researchers. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, new teen drivers join school buses on the road. AAA urges everyone to stay alert near school zones.
And we've got a pretty decent start to the day. Temperatures average this morning, but we're heating up this afternoon. A look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, large cycling events raise safety concerns in McDonald County. Officials are working on a plan for more oversight.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:31. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Thursday, August the 14th, almost halfway through this month and just over halfway through the week, and it's gonna be hot.
Yeah.
That's about all you need to know. You probably want to know how hot it's going to get. You may not really want to know, but you need to know how hot it's going to get. But I can tell you right now, it's just going to be straight up hot.
That's August.
Yeah. That's our August, isn't it? All right. Well, unfortunately, I said it's just going to get hot. Let's start with the look outside, though. It doesn't look too hot. It looks pretty nice. In fact, right now, it's very nice outside. Great opportunity. Maybe you have the day off, all right? Maybe you got some vacation time, or maybe you don't have to go in until later. You can open the windows a bit this morning. Give your AC a break because it's going to be working overtime the next few days. Of course, our camera, 7th and Rangeline in Joplin. Another great view of that sunrise out there. And we do have some light, patchy fog across the area. Nothing like what we saw yesterday. In fact, we've seen a lot of improvements. Anderson Grove, Iola, with some reduced visibility. But even then, it's not a lot. But you still want to watch out for the potential for some patchy, dense fog that could sneak in here and there as we get our day underway. This fog should burn off by about 8 o'clock this morning. Got a low pressure system that's going to pass by. Unfortunately, it does absolutely nothing for us, but it will pass by, and it will, that's a lie. It does do something. It brings us the partly cloudy skies as we head in the late morning and into the afternoon hours. And you see on Future Track, like those little green splotches, maybe a sprinkle. Really though, the chance is really too low to even mention. It's there, but it's minuscule. I think that we're just going to spend the day dry. We are sitting at 69 in Joplin, 70 in Pittsburgh. Bear in mind the average low is 70, and so some of us are below that. In fact, Sedan is the cool spot right now, still sitting at 65 degrees this morning. Bentonville, the warm spot, but only at 72, so not a bad start to the day. Upper 60s and some 70s out there. Very good start to the day. Unfortunately, it will not last much longer. We will heat up pretty quickly through the morning. Near 80 by 9 o'clock. Sunny skies again initially. Then we'll start going partly cloudy. 90 by noon. Mid-90s where our highs are going to be. So our highs today still above normal. 4 or 5 degrees above average, but our heat index values are going to start going up, and today they could be close to 100 degrees, so make sure you're staying hydrated out there. Temperatures, as I mentioned earlier, regrettably will continue to climb as we head into the weekend, which of course will send those heat index values way up there as well. We'll talk about that and when we might get some relief from this heat here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, as the new school year kicks off, there are more than just buses back on the road. New teen drivers are as well. AAA is urging everyone behind the wheel to stay alert, especially near school zones and busy intersections, by putting phones down and keeping eyes up. AAA says a pedestrian hit at 35 miles per hour is 2/3 more likely to be killed than if the vehicle were going just 10 miles per hour slower.
The school bus laws are in effect for a reason, where if they have their flashing lights on or their stop sign up, traffic is required in both directions to come to a stop. You have a lot of kids, young kids that may be riding the bus for the first time, and it can be a challenge. So make sure you're following those bus laws.
Now, last year in Missouri, 106 people died in crashes involving distractions. Of the people killed in Missouri, 52% were someone other than the distracted driver. And officials in McDonald County, Missouri say large cycling events are raising safety concerns. The county commission is now working on a plan to gain more oversight for these events. Recently, there was a race that brought in more than 1,300 participants. County officials were not made aware beforehand, causing not only traffic issues, but also safety concerns as first responders were unexpectedly spread thin. A planned ordinance would require organizers to get a permit and work out a plan with law enforcement to ensure safety.
The bike race supposedly coming here in a couple months, and we've been working also with the bike race promoters, and they've been very cooperative. So I think we've got something we can work with and make this event a whole lot safer and still hopefully provide some kind of economic boost for the county down the road.
Now, the commission says because there are several upcoming cycling races and events scheduled in McDonald County within the next few months, they are working to get an ordinance implemented within the coming weeks. And the 15th annual Dog Swim, sponsored by the Pittsburgh Parks and Recreation, hosted a splashing puppy party that saw dogs and their owners come out for lots of tail wagging and cool wading. The swim was open to the public and required a vaccination record prior to entering the park. All donations were given to the SEK Humane Society.
So it all goes towards our medical costs. So right now, unfortunately, what we're seeing from a lot of intakes is that a lot of kids are coming in hurt or sick, sadly. We've had to do a lot of emergency surgeries. So the funds from this event are going to go straight to those kids with getting them back on their feet.
Different breeds took a break from the dog days of summer to slash their way to happiness under the guidance of their owners. It was a tail-wagging good time. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KWAM Morning News. Air Canada starts canceling flights today. 10,000 flight attendants could strike Saturday without a new labor deal. Plus, the NBA approves Boston Celtics sale to Bill Chisholm. The deal is valued at more than $6.1 billion. We'll have the latest time now, 6:37. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from Radio Springs Park in Nevada, Missouri. In Consumer Watch this morning, Air Canada says it will start canceling flights today ahead of a possible strike by its flight attendants. The union representing the company's 10,000 flight attendants has given notice that it could strike starting on Saturday if a new labor deal is not reached by then. Customers whose flights are canceled will be notified and they're eligible for a full refund. And the NBA has approved the sale of the Boston Celtics to an investment group led by businessman Bill Chisholm. The deal is valued at more than $6.1 billion. Chisholm will take a 51% ownership stake in the team when the deal is finalized. He'll have full control by 2028 at a price that could push the team's total value to more than $7 billion. And Amazon says its same-day grocery delivery service is now available in 1,000 cities and towns across the U.S. The company is adding non-perishable food items to the service, which is free for Amazon Prime members for orders over $25. Now, non-members can order same-day delivery for a fee of $12.99. Amazon says it hopes to expand the service to over 2,000 locations by the end of the year, all as the company aims to compete with rivals like Instacart and Walmart Plus. And that's a look at Consumer Watch this morning. Let's take it over now to Chris with another look at today's forecast.
Yeah, we've got a beautiful sunrise out there this morning from downtown Pittsburgh. However, as the sun continues to climb higher into the sky today, our temperatures will rise quickly right along with it. We're going to have another look at your forecast, talk about the heat, how long that's going to last, and when we might see some relief again from all of this. We're also going to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries, that and so much more right after this. Time now 6:42. All right, it is now time for some Thursday birthdays here in the 4 states, and we are going to start in Iola with Lena Marie Middlemeyer celebrating big number 1 today. Happy birthday.
Also celebrating their first birthday over in Spring Hill. A very happy birthday to Ember Heckers.
And we have Juniper Liberty celebrating birthday number 6 today. Happy birthday.
Making our way over to Oswego. A happy 12th birthday today to Faith Folk. It says here, happy birthday from Zachary, Jaslyn, Mom, and Dad.
And we're going to head over to Columbus now for Isaac Barton celebrating birthday number 17. Happy birthday.
And staying in Columbus with a happy 22nd birthday to Haley Rouso.
And we are going to head now to Parsons, where Ingrid Schneikert celebrating birthday number 49 today. It says here she's the one in the green shirt. It says happy birthday from Billy, Sydney, and Stephen.
And Kathy Budd celebrating birthday number 76 today in Richards. It says, happy birthday, Mom. We love you. Happy birthday, Kathy.
And an anniversary, Blake and Lindsay Guffey celebrating their 10th wedding anniversary. A very happy anniversary to the Guffeys.
And in Chanute, a happy 21st anniversary to Greg and Sharon Barnhart. It says, years have passed by so fast. Love you. And just know, I won't be cooking dinner tonight. Good for you.
There you go. Hey, it's an anniversary. You got to go out. You got to enjoy it. You got to have somebody else make that dinner for you. It's always a nice thing, even when it's not your anniversary, to have somebody else occasionally make that dinner for you. And of course, if you would like to celebrate your special occasion or a loved one's special occasion, Elise has some information you must take down.
Yes, please submit those birthdays and those anniversaries to birthdays@koamnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those wonderful photos and messages to meet the deadline at the bottom of your screen, and to also please include the date of your celebration when submitting as well.
Very important information, and we are going to talk about some very important weather information. We're going to start with this, a live look from downtown Pittsburgh. We've got a couple of clouds and a bird just went by. It's a great start to the day, and we are looking nice. The temperatures this morning are nice. If you, again, are off today, maybe your workday starts a little later in the morning, whatever the case may be, open your windows. Give your AC a little break, because in the next few days, it is very likely going to be working overtime. Even if you, do what the utility companies always recommend, turn up that heat a bit, or turn up the heat. Well, you don't want to do that. But if you increase the temperature in your house, where your AC is not running as much with the heat, it may still run quite a bit. It's going to really get hot. MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline in Joplin, looking back to the north, looking pretty good as well. So getting this Thursday underway. We're almost halfway through the month of August. Can you believe that? And take a look. See, I told you we'd keep the fog tracker handy for reasons. Fort Scott, sudden drop in visibility is not significant, but now you're down just below 5 miles. Iola below 7, and Nevada Stockton at 8.5. So once again, the 54 corridor. Got some patchy fog out there that you want to watch out for. Again, it's not overly dense, but you could run into those areas of patchy, dense fog as well. So low beams, not your high beams. Of course, fog lights if you've got them. And just slow down. Do be aware of your surroundings and of the fog situation, because it can change pretty quickly from point to point as you're traveling this morning. Future track. Well, there's not really much out there, is there? There's not. We have a low pressure system. Right now it's up to our north. Brought showers, thunderstorms, even some severe weather way off to our north. It's going to pass close to us. Regrettably, it isn't going to bring us anything other than some clouds. We're looking at partly cloudy skies by late morning into the afternoon. Future track is hinting at a sprinkle or two, but in all honesty, the rain chances the rain that pops up here between today, tomorrow, and Saturday, the chances at this time are too low to really even include in the forecast at this point. But you will see rolling into the afternoon a shower or two might be possible, but again, it's too low of a chance right now for us to get too excited about. But at least somebody might see a sprinkle or two. Outside of that, it's partly cloudy. Saturday, though, winds could increase a bit out of the south, and that's also going to help increase our temperatures and heat index values to really uncomfortable levels, which we'll get to in a moment. And again, see, on Saturday, we'll watch it. We do see at least a couple of additional pop-up showers out there, but you can also see we stopped that at 3 and only moved it ahead 2 hours, and within 2 hours, what was out there has vanished from sight. So that's why the chances right now are really too low, but maybe somebody gets a light sprinkle or two. The thing that, unfortunately, the chances are high is our heat index values. That's where today we're easily cruising to about 100. Now, you can see some of us may be a degree or two below that this afternoon. Some of us may be a degree or two above that, but we could still see heat index values up to about 100. By tomorrow, now we're seeing a lot more of us reaching about 105, but as we've discussed, the further west and south you go, the higher those heat index values could be. By Saturday, still up to 105. Some locations may even get close to 110 between Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We do not have any heat advisories out west yet. Could there be some? I wouldn't really be surprised. They just haven't come out yet, but by tomorrow we might start to see a few heat advisories go into place. Our heat risk today, not too terrible. It's minor to moderate, but as we go through the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we get into that moderate to major heat risk. That even lasts with us a bit into Monday, and then by Tuesday, take a look at Wednesday. We're back to minor. Some fantastic news there. And of course, we got all of our heat safety tips on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com/forecast. So clear skies to start, gradually increasing clouds, mid-70s by 8, near 90 by 11 o'clock this morning. We're going to have another look at your forecast and your wake up recap here in just a moment. And when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., or of course, if you just continue to stream us on KOAM Plus, we're going to tell you about one Colorado police department that's using AI to speed up paperwork and get more officers on the streets.
This is your Wake Up Recap for August 14th. Your top stories to start your day. Well, the Joplin SWAT team was called to Easttown yesterday afternoon, resulting in the arrest of an armed man after a tense standoff. Police responded to a disturbance on the 1300 block of South Furnace around 2 p.m. Residents safely exited, and after SWAT deployed flashbangs, the suspect surrendered. Charges, including first-degree burglary, are expected. Authorities in Joplin responded to a serious crash on West Zora yesterday morning around 9 a.m. Both drivers and a child were hospitalized, with one driver in critical condition after being trapped for an extended period. All lanes have since reopened. Authorities are investigating a trailer fire in Webb City that claimed the life of 60-year-old George McDonald. The fire broke out yesterday morning on the 4400 block of North Center Lane. McDonald was found unresponsive and later died in the hospital. 2 others suffered smoke inhalation and minor burns. And SpaceX is preparing to launch 24 Starlink satellites into low Earth orbit from Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. The Falcon 9 rocket's first stage booster, flying for the 9th time, is set to land on the Of Course I Still Love You drone ship in the Pacific. Residents nearby may hear sonic booms during launch, depending on weather conditions. And that's a check of today's Wake Up Recap.
Yeah, we've got a hot day out there. Mid-90s, partly cloudy skies, heat index values up to 100. Skies will begin to clear by late evening and overnight, still well above normal as we fall back into the mid-70s across the area. However, this looks to be another brief heat wave, which is good. The problem is we still got to get through it. By tomorrow into the weekend, temperatures upper 90s, near 100, so heat index values easily approaching 105, and in some locations, especially in our western counties, could reach heat index values close to 110. So make sure you're taking precautions. We've got all of our heat safety tips again back on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com/forecast. Pop-up storm chances Monday, Tuesday, at least slightly better ones that we can put a number with, and that brings our temperatures down to normal by Tuesday. But take a look at Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're below normal. That's what we are looking forward to, and then we'll have a return to normal as we roll into the next weekend. And is that right? They call this thing the Of Course I Still Love. Why?
The drone ship?
The drone.
I know.
What kind of name is that?
I don't know. It's kind of fun.
Wow, that's a long one. It just could have gone with Friendship 1 or something, but okay.
Friendship 1, sure, I like it. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making fried elephant ears in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Another fun name for you, too.
I'm telling you, what is this day? This is an interesting one. Well, your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Taylor Swift shared not only her new album release date, but plenty of personal information on the Kelsey Brothers podcast. Details from their appearance drew over 1 million listeners.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues this morning. Regional negotiators say there's still hope for a Gaza ceasefire as Israel and Hamas both express openness to renewed talks.
Plus, school zones become more dangerous as inexperienced teen drivers join that morning and afternoon traffic. We'll have information on that. Why don't we call the show something like that instead of the KOAM morning news? This could be
Of course, it's still the KOAM morning news.
Of course, we still love you here on the KOAM morning news at 5 a.m. You know, like it needs to have a detailed name. I don't know if the bosses will go for it, but you never know. I mean, if they're going for that for ships, why not? That's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll be back here tomorrow morning on of course, it's always still going to be the KOAM morning news at 5 a.m.
And of course, we'll see you today at noon.